Arthur Foreman said that not everyone thinks the way you think, knows the things you know, believe the things you believe, nor act the way you would act. Remember this, and you will go a long way in getting along with people. Namaste everyone, and I welcome you to another episode of Feel the Bliss podcast. These days we are surrounded by opinions, people calling out to each other, and sharing their viewpoints on social media. And when someone from our friend shares something with which we disagree, our first reaction is, how can they feel this way? Do such people exist? With this being the most common feeling these days, I was reminded of those days when I used to feel this way, but in a very different way and in a very different context. Those were the days when I was not that confident, felt that the whole world is after me and against me and they're just bullies around there in the real world. But thankfully, I was proved wrong and my thought process changed for better. When I started sharing my thoughts, emotions and viewpoints, especially on bullying or fat shaming, I got so much support, from friends on social media. Not just social media, even in real life, I started meeting people who used to support me or appreciate me for my qualities, but I was so wounded by my past bullying that I never believed them. I always felt that how can such people exist, who can see goodness in me or who could be so polite to me and so nice to me. I always felt that they must be having some ulterior motive or they are amazingly diplomatic and knows how to sugarcoat their talks. But I was so wrong, and I'm happy that time proved that. They were genuine. They just loved to encourage people around them and spread positivity. They genuinely felt happy about your achievements and have a heart of gold. I was in awe. I was in awe to realize that such people exist. It took me a few years to realize that, and I regret losing touch with some of them only because I couldn't trust them back then. I so wish that I get a chance to go back in time and say sorry for my rudeness and stupidity and ask forgiveness. Sometimes your past wounds, your bad experiences doesn't allow you to accept something different from what you got in the past. For me, someone appreciating my looks felt such a big lie to me because I was made to believe that I was few kgs up, so I was the ugliest person. And I think we all have such kind of apprehensions in mind. So whenever we meet someone who's very different from us, we think that they are wrong and we are right. Or sometimes we don't believe in certain views and thoughts because according to our experience, our knowledge, our wisdom, that would be next to impossible. Sometimes it is the belief system of families that is just passed on to you and you passively started believing it. And sometimes it's just a bad experience of your loved ones that makes you more cautious and skeptical. Or it's just getting triggered when you don't get your type of environment which feels familiar or safe, and we get anxious with very different energy around us. Maybe that's what we call the fear of the unknown. Sometimes we just can't believe that there would be someone who would be different from us, different thought patterns, different way of taking things in life and living life, and still they would be the most amazing people you would have ever come across. Today I'm talking about this because recently I've been noticing that we all are generalizing things because of some incident or experience in our life. We all do that. And I have lost so many opportunities doubting people who appreciated me and acknowledged my talents only because I doubted their intentions. But the reality was that the doubt, the fear, the insecurity was inside me. And whether I believed back then or not, the goodness existed and still exists and will exist forever. And I can vouch for that. See around and you will find so many genuine people out there. I remember how an NGO named Robin Hood helped us to get masks when my father was in hospital and there was scarcity of masks and sanitizer in the market. I have seen people genuinely saving water and planting trees, not because they were covered and appreciated by media, but they want to do it because it gives them happiness. I see so many people sharing my post in podcasts, even when they are way ahead in digital world. This world, especially the corporate world, has made us to believe that goodness doesn't exist anymore. We feel all are just chasing targets and aiming gains and benefits, but just don't believe that. The genuine people exist. Those who think about climate or pollution or are just trying to be nice to others, and not for any benefit, but because that goodness, that genuineness is food for their soul. I know the pain is real when we have a bad experience, and I don't want to invalidate that feeling. One should never do that. But labeling everyone and everything on the basis of that one experience is what we need to stop right now. Never stop believing in humanity. This thought pattern is the most toxic, most damaging to the world. Never think that genuine people have ceased to exist. And when you will believe this, the goodness in others would reveal itself. With this, I would like to conclude this podcast by saying that yes, we should not be believing someone blindly, but we should not be doubting someone blindly as well. Namaste.